Who's the Manson brothers?
Who's the Manson brothers?
Well, they was the baddest mother tag team in professional wrestling.
Hey, all you crazy cats and kittens. It's the Manson Brothers Show. I am your sort of host, Stone Manson, here with my brother, Skull, the immovable force.
And he's
Today,
the Hellraiser to end all Hellraisers.
We got something new and different for you. We're going to talk about a movie that's by this director guy I'm not sure anybody's ever heard of.
No.
Name's John Carpenter.
Yeah, we haven't done him before.
We haven't?
No.
No. Kidding. We like Carpenter movies.
We love them.
This one, though, takes us into so many segues. It's got Carpenter. It's got wrestling. It's got wrestling moves. It's got wrestling.
The longest fight sequence in movie
all time. And with that, we're going to be back in just a minute to tell you all about it and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. And if you're not careful, you just might learn a thing or two.
Don't go away.
We'll be right back.
Carson could tap out you and your rocket scientist brother.
Hey,
Bring it, Pops.
what are you doing? He called you a rocket scientist. The joke's on him. I don't know nothing about rockets.
Hey there, everybody. I'm back. Stone Manson. Got my Jack Daniels. My bro's hugging on his buddy. Who is that guy?
The Crimson Ghost.
Crimson Ghost. You might know otherwise as the
Mascot.
for the Misfits, right?
But before that, he was in a series in the 40s or 50s called The Crimson Ghost.
Huh. You don't say.
I do say.
Who was in the Misfits?
Glenn Danzig.
Pretty good on his own.
I'd
Short
say
little
so.
fucker, though.
Oh, tiny.
Yeah.
Well built.
You know what? But I give the guy.
Do you know he was the original choice for Wolverine?
Indeed, I do. Which is
That'd have
crazy.
been great.
Probably can't act. So
I don't know.
by the way, while we're here, I would like to dispel a rumor that's been going around.
I failed the spelling.
I think we all know that. By dispel, I mean I'd like to clear up a false rumor that has been going around.
What's the false rumor?
May contain alcohol. The truth is,
You definitely
100%
contain alcohol.
does contain alcohol. So anyway, let's just clear that up. And away we go.
Away we
On
go.
to the Carpenter classic, starring none other than the Rowdy Scott. Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Hot Rod.
The Hot Rod. They live.
Yep.
But
And
at the
great
end,
guy.
does anybody really live?
No.
Spoiler alert, by
Spoiler.
the way.
You owe me a Coke.
If you haven't seen They Live, now's the time to hit pause. We'll hit subscribe beforehand to all of the shows on the Arrow in the Head Network, but specifically Manson Brothers Show. If you have to pick one, gotta be
Pause
pretty
this
much it.
one. Then go watch it.
Go watch They Live.
Then
Come
come
back
back.
and see what we have
Because
to say.
we're going to wreck it for you.
Let's compare
We
and
are.
contrast. We like to be interactive with everyone.
Yeah.
Send
We
us an
also
email.
like to do a back and forth with people.
That too. That too. So, brother dear, why
Hmm.
don't you lead off and tell us about your thoughts on the movie They Live?
I thought They Live was cool, especially at the time it came, which was in the late 80s. Ronald Reagan was still the president. Oh, actually, George W. Bush was the president. H.W.
Yeah.
Bush was the president at the time. And the 80s were sort of a real kind of everybody in lockstep sort of era, if you will.
But a lot of excess.
A lot of
was kind
excess,
the
right? A lot of
thing.
consuming.
Yep.
You know, it was sort of like the me era. You know, it was the era of excess, like you said, and so it's it was kind of cool that they did this thing where the premise was that aliens are really putting one over on us, as far as
And they have interwoven themselves into
Yeah.
our society
Yeah.
via subliminal messaging.
subliminal messages
everything.
masquerading as human beings when they're really not. And our hero Roddy Piper, who plays sort of a vagrant,
And our hero's name is John Nada,
nada,
which is basically nothing.
nothing,
So he's the guy who's nothing.
nothing.
And yet the aliens are basically promising.
But he's
those-
also something.
He is. They're promising those with nothing a better life.
Well, the ones that
Theoretically.
get in cahoots with the
Right.
aliens, who know they're aliens, the aliens
Right.
expose themselves, so they use them kind of like stooges, right? So you get a
They're
couple
like
of
a
you-
familiar, basically.
right, a
in vampire
familiar,
movie.
right, exactly. They're stooges for the aliens, and they get power and status, and you see that play out. But Roddy Piper discovers by accident that this band of rebels who know what's going on are manufacturing these cool glasses that when you put them on, you can see what's really going on. You see all the subliminal messages and the signs and the aliens
And
themselves.
you can see the aliens. Who's the alien?
Right.
Formaldehyde face.
And so they find out that he knows, and that kind of sets the whole thing in motion.
And how do they find out?
I believe he's in like a 7-Eleven or something, and he bumps into this lady, and he looks up, and she's got a dog, and he makes a crack about her being uglier than the dog or whatever, and she figures out, and she says, "We got one that can see."
Got one that can see, and then she dips out.
Yeah, she went boink. Yeah, boink. Right,
Yeah.
and so then they're after him. The police are after him. He kills them, but then he comes in contact.
Doesn't kill the police.
No, it beats the shit out of him.
With, by the way, the greatest short clothesline.
Oh,
the history of movie
it was great.
fights.
He upends this guy. It was great.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
great. It was great. And then he keeps trying to convince his buddy Keith David to put the glasses
The
on.
iconic Keith David.
The iconic Keith
Also
David.
in
The
The
Thing.
Thing.
And a bunch
Put
of
the
other
glasses
things.
on.
Right.
And leading up into getting Keith David to put the glasses on.
Yeah.
We have
The greatest,
Slash.
longest fight sequence in movie history.
ever. That also includes a what?
Fake finish.
Suplex.
Yeah. A bunch of false
There's
comebacks.
a bunch of suplexes in this fight scene. Now, granted, I realize that Rowdy Piper.
Yeah.
And you could actually pull off forms of a suplex.
Roddy
in a
Roddy
fight.
Piper, also a trained boxer in his own right,
Yes.
does actually some of his boxing in there too, and it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
Yeah. Well, and he did a good job acting. Like
Yeah, and he was built like a brick shit house back then too. He
I'm
looks
interested
great.
to know how, Carpenter was kind of a master of casting people who the studios didn't want in particular movies.
Yeah,
Famously, Kurt Russell in Escape from New York.
famously.
The
That's probably the
studios
most
did
famous.
not want him.
How did he sell Piper? But at the
Well-
time, Piper was hot. He's coming off.
But he hadn't done any films really. I mean, he'd done
No,
like
Hell
Baywatch
Comes
or
to
something.
Frogtown.
I think that was after.
that was before.
You sure?
Yeah.
It was a turd.
And then he
By
had
the
a
way.
he had a TV series with Jesse Ventura that failed, but that was after in the early 90s. It was which was called Tag Team.
So you've got Hell Comes to Frogtown and a failed TV series with Jesse the Body.
yeah, and then
And
they
that
they
somehow
let
gets
a
you
lead a
cast in
movie.
a studio movie with John Carpenter.
Well, I think they figured they put Ventura in Predator, and it made it kind of really popped his career. Everybody loved the character, so they're like, well, why not? Piper at the time was a bigger name than Jesse,
Yeah.
and he probably came cheaper than Hulk Hogan, and he was easier to cast because he wasn't as massive
yeah.
and huge. So
Well, he definitely looked the part of a guy
believable
who could have
guy.
been homeless.
yeah, and he
not
looks
homeless.
like a hero too. He's built like a hero.
I meant to say unhoused for those of you who
Yeah.
are,
And until I think this is a personal opinion, until Dave Bautista came along, who I think is a phenomenal actor, I think Piper was a good actor. I think he pulled it off really well.
well, there wasn't a whole lot of. It was a small sample size. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
It was him and Hulk Hogan for a while.
right.
Which
Right. This is before The Rock and all.
Yeah. And I
Cena.
think Paul Levesque had done a couple of kids movies or something.
Not at that point in time. He wasn't even in the business yet.
Well, not back when Rowdy.
Oh,
was,
you
but I
talking
mean,
about now?
up until
Yeah,
Batista
yeah.
got it.
Yeah, He did a Blade movie too.
Oh yeah.
He played that character
Yeah. He
Grimjack.
wasn't too bad.
No, he's pretty good.
That was actually a pretty good movie.
Paul, nice job.
There you go, Paul. If you're looking for writers, anyway. So they live. It's kind of a classic Carpenter fashion of, it's a race against time. It's kind of a man on an island against
Yeah.
everybody. It's very much.
Well,
Escape
it's
from New
kind of like
York
The
and-
Thing, where unless you're wearing the
Thing.
glasses, you don't know.
Right.
And even if you have the glasses on, you don't know what humans are in cahoots
right,
with the aliens.
which brings us into kind of the halfway love interest played by
Meg Foster, who's the weirdest look of any actress
Great
I've
eyes,
ever
though, back
seen.
in the day.
Yeah, my buddy used to call her Weird Eyes, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper and Weird Eyes.
Did he know her, or did he just call her that?
No, I
from
just
afar?
called her that. Yeah, I don't know how far he was, but
I thought her eyes were kind of.
she was odd though. And I don't even know what else
Mhm.
she did after that. I'm sure she did a bunch of stuff. She's a pretty big actress at
She
the
was
time.
in a Rob Zombie movie recently, and she does not look even remotely the same.
What Rob Zombie?
31 or one of those things. She,
Folks, I'm sorry.
Didn't
I'm
hold
just
up
not
really
a fan.
yeah, don't listen to him. check out House of a Thousand Corpses.
Devil's
No,
Rejects.
Devil's Rejects.
That's a
the
good
best
one. I like Devil's.
Anyway, we're talking about They Live.
we
We're not talking.
digest.
So Rowdy Roddy Piper was arguably the greatest heel in the history of wrestling,
I would say so.
right?
Yep.
But at that time,
Up
he
until
had-
Hogan turned.
he had become, and that's the point of our this week's
wrestling term.
wrestling
of the day.
terminology of the week, which is heel.
Heel.
And most of you probably know this terminology, but we're going to throw it out there anyway. The heel is,
The villain.
and Roddy Piper was the greatest heel, arguably, that ever lived.
He was.
However, what very few people realize outside of the industry is the bigger the heel, the bigger the turn. And that goes into, and we're going to do two terms because they play so well together.
Turn.
No, I said
That's a term.
We're going to do two terminology.
I know, but turn is a term.
We're not doing turn.
Oh.
What would we do if we're doing heel?
Face.
Specifically, what kind of a face?
Baby face.
Thank you very much. So, boys and girls, the baby face is the
hero.
Yes. So there's a heel.
No good for flushing hero.
And there's a baby face.
I bet you guys can guess what we were.
And the way it works is, although the bigger the heel, the bigger the face when you make the turn. And Roddy Piper at that time had made the turn.
But also, too, and this goes for movies, the hero is only great if he has a great villain to fight against.
Yes.
That's the truth. You got a crappy villain, nobody gives a shit what the hero does.
But that was why Piper was the best heel.
Oh. Because you wanted to, here's what's great about heels, too. How do you make great heels? That you got to get people to love them just a little bit. You just want to see them be good, but they're just not.
Yeah. And then hate them.
As
much as they can.
Because
and the great part is the baby doesn't even have to really be a baby. If the heel's good enough at what he does, anybody, Osama bin Laden could walk
show
through that
up
curtain
and you'd cheer for him.
and he'd get pops.
Right.
That'll be another wrestling terminology one time. Pops.
Want to take an email?
Let's do that. Let's take an email. We have so many today.
I know.
Oh my God.
Do that one.
Let's see. This one is from Mike G from Orland Park. He says, "Why are you giving away all the K?" Oh no, we're not going to do that one. Let's go down to this other one.
Do a movie one.
Can I read the emails?
Sure.
Or you want to read the emails?
No, you read.
Yeah. When you're on a third grade level versus a
just
level.
get on with it.
Mensa level. This week's email
That's what I don't want to get into that.
comes from, I'm going to go with this one from.
God, there's a lot of them today,
know,
folks.
that's
You're
why-
on the ball.
That's why I can't figure it out. This one is from Jasmine. Holy cow, I
Ooh.
like that name.
From Aladdin?
And no, she's not from Aladdin.
Oh,
Jasmine
love
is
that
from
movie.
Portland, Maine. Wow. Gotta be
Nice.
freezing up there right now.
good lobsters.
Very good lobsters. Thank you very much. And Jasmine asks, "Hey guys, what's your other favorite movie that has a legitimate professional wrestler in it? Not you guys." Jesus Christ, that's kind of cold, Jasmine. We're legitimate and we save the world.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's see. I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna laugh.
don't say the one with Hogan where he's wearing the tutu.
No.
Okay.
It was a made-for-TV movie in the late 70s, and it was called Mad Bull, and it starred Alex Karras, and the guy he fought against, I believe, was Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Dude. Well, I think Alex Karras at one point was a professional wrestler as well.
I don't know. I know he's a football player.
He is the highest drafted Greek in the history of the NFL.
Was that true?
Yep. Alex Karras.
Wow. Way to go, Alex. God
Way to
bless
go.
your soul.
How about a movie that somebody would have actually ever heard of? Could you go with that one?
All right, fine.
With a wrestler that only, not only you and I would know?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think Dave Bautista is a great actor.
I do too.
And as much as I didn't like the movie, I liked his performance in the remake of Blade Runner.
Oh, I never saw that.
It's not good, but he's good. And he's really natural in it, and that's what I like to see.
Would
the
it
actors.
count if I said, you know, in the beginning of the Highlander, when they zip in and there's a match with the Freebirds and the Von Erichs?
I don't know if that
doesn't
counts.
count?
They're not exactly acting. Well, they are, but they aren't.
Okay. Then
How about Vern Gagne and The Wrestler?
Was he in The Wrestler?
Yeah, 1974. The movie called The Wrestler.
Oh, no.
Ed Asner,
You meant the
Vern
one
Gagne, Billy Robinson, a really young Ken Patera.
I thought you meant the one with Mickey Rourke.
No.
I'm going to go with
I love that movie, but that's not what I'm talking.
The Rundown with Dwayne Johnson.
The Rundown. That's
one of
pretty
my favorites.
good.
Dwayne Johnson and Stifler.
Stifler.
That's a tough one to beat. And there's a guy in there who looks a hell of a lot like Michael P.S. Hayes at the end.
Maybe it's him.
It's not.
Oh.
But so Jasmine, that's your answers for today. By the way, The Rundown is kind of one of those movies where we talked about this previously with one of our other films. Guys who don't like to use guns.
Yeah.
And then they wind up using guns. And it's clear that they don't like to use guns because they're so good at it that it almost feels like a disadvantage. That's The Rundown.
I think that's a stupid premise.
The guy doesn't like anything.
I like it. It's just sort of, no, I don't like guns. And it's like, boom, boom, and they can shoot the wings off a fly at
All right.
1,000 yards. Get over yourself.
Let's get back to They Live with Rowdy Piper, none other than
the Hot Rod. Serious, you know what
He wore a kilt,
like? He did. Yeah. They killed him in the end. So
wrecked him.
It
barely
nearly
killed him.
Nearly killed him. I like when he's trying to figure out where the signal's coming from.
Yes.
I mean, that is a really cool, and I like the way he just breaks into the TV studio and starts killing people.
Well, the girl works at the TV studio.
Right. So he's trying to get her and stop the signal.
Before we go there, we need to comment on when he, finally kind of realizes that the glasses work and you get kind of a hangover from wearing them.
Yeah.
And he rolls into the bank.
Yeah.
And he utters
perhaps
arguably
the greatest tough guy lines of all time.
Tough guy lines ever, which apparently he ad-libbed.
Yeah, I guess the story is Carpenter said, just say something.
Say something.
And so
he said what?
I am here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well,
love it.
And he cocks that, racks that mother, and ba-bow, 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 ba-bow.
Great.
Pretty great.
I remember when we watched that, and I was just like,
you probably won't remember this because you were in the Marines and I was at college at the time. Very divergent paths.
You could see how different we are.
I, at school, saw that movie 4 days in a row.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow.
100%.
No, I just
any movie with a wrestler, I mean, that was before we had gotten into the business. And,
yeah.
I was all that.
Things were back different then, folks. You couldn't just pick whatever you wanted to watch and watch it. You had to
or
go to
pick
the
whatever
show.
you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like right now, I identify with being a billionaire, but yet somehow no one is recognizing that. So
yeah,
including the good folks at the Arrow in the Head channel.
I identify with being a high-paid actor.
Yeah, no, nobody's recognizing that one.
No,
it's the hat.
No,
trust me,
it is the hat.
So back to the film. We're going back to the concept. So Roddy Piper is kind of in this race against the clock, while the insurgents are trying to take out the communication,
right?
So that everyone can see, hey, there's these aliens around here.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly,
by that time he had converted Keith David after that big fight his way,
yes. and he had the guy who I can't remember his name, but he's famously in the movie with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
48 Hours.
Scene, yes, where he says,
"Oh, Hugh." Yeah, I forget what his name is. He used to be the president of SAG Union.
Great actor.
He just recently passed away.
Great
yeah,
actor.
he's the guy that's sort of the leader of the rebellion,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And who gives Piper his first set of glasses.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Then they get the contact lenses, right? They don't give you the hangover.
Yes.
Yeah, they figured out how to make contact lenses and it doesn't give you a hangover.
I love
wear them all the time.
Yeah. But then the bulldozers come in.
You know what I really like about this movie? It's such a simple concept. They got a bunch of blue blockers and blue blockers.
Remember that commercial?
Right? Yeah.
My
For those of you folks who are Generation Z, you don't know what we're talking about, or millennials.
Go
Generation
find some blue
X.
blockers.
Gen X guys, people, you'll know what we're talking about.
You know what? The blue blockers probably actually worked to show the aliens that were living on Earth, and that's why you never see them.
That might be true.
It was a shoot.
It may have been a shoot. Was it a shoot?
We already did wrestling jargon.
We'll do it next time.
Damn it.
Next time, folks.
Next time.
So wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. What's
Go
your
right ahead.
favorite part in the movie? The clothesline part?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's basically the first conflict scene with Piper.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
And that clothesline is jamming, dude.
I like the scene where he gets pushed out of the window. Meg Foster's in the
Oh,
apartment and
yeah.
she shoves him out the window. He goes through the
But
glass.
she's living in the Hollywood.
Yeah, on a stilt
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
And he goes roll. I mean, he's like bang, bang, goes rolling down the hill, and he gets up and walks
Only
away
John
from-
Nada could walk away from
Oh
that.
my god, it was so violent.
I
and
will
so
say though,
great.
Piper looks pretty badass, even in like
Yeah.
jeans and a
Yeah, because he's
flannel.
built like a brick shit
Yeah, he
house.
was big, man. He was ready to go.
He
for
looked
that
great.
movie.
I mean, he just looked like he was in fighting shape. I
Yeah,
mean, that was it. Sold it.
Interestingly, that was for Carpenter. He hadn't done a lot of stuff in a while because that movie was like 88, right?
89 it came out.
So what had he done around that? I mean, that was obviously his big hit around that
I
time.
think before that he had Big Trouble in Little China, and before that he had Starman and maybe something else in the middle that I'm missing.
so. They Live had to be a pretty big
Yeah, it was.
movie, and
It was. It was
and
a
it
big
had the
film.
Carpenter soundtrack. You know, the kind of the
Dun,
keyboardy score.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Oh yeah,
dun.
yeah.
Kind of the
It was
downtrodden, vagrant.
very, yeah,
music.
very vagrant, kind of
That was-
slow burn.
Yeah, it was John
Yeah.
Nada's theme. It was really
Wow.
cool, man. They Live's a cool movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Get out and check it out.
If you have seen it, tell us what your favorite part is.
Yeah, check out Meg Foster in 31. She looks completely different.
Or don't.
Or don't.
It's got Dick Brake in it too.
Oh, Dick Breaks in what?
Isn't he in 31?
Oh, 31. Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
meant They Live.
No.
Dick Breaks in everything, man.
Nice guy.
Is
Yes,
he?
sir.
I never met him.
Yeah, I met him.
I
I
saw
met
him
him
in
at Flashback.
I saw him in the green room one time.
I met Flashback. He's a nice guy. He was a nice
He's
guy.
tall.
Yeah, he's pretty
He's
tall.
British too, right? Or is
He's
he
from
Australian?
Wales. No, he's from Wales. Yeah,
So he's Welsh.
he's Welsh. So they tell me. I don't know. What do I know? Nothing. But I know he's a nice guy.
Scottish, Welsh.
Anyway, tell us what you think of the movie. Tell us what your favorite part is. Go to mansonbrothers.com.
More importantly, write in. We need questions every week, people.
Yes.
We got to have questions. You've had some great questions this week.
There's a lot of them
There
today.
were a
Man.
lot of emails this week.
Hard
We can
to
only
pick.
take a couple, but keep them coming. We'll move them on to subsequent shows
What does that mean?
after the show that we're doing.
Oh, I thought it had something to do with a sandwich. Anyway,
No, if there's a show you want to see, if there's a movie you want to see us do,
yeah, let us know,
something about.
and we'll do it.
Did you say let us know?
I said, let us know.
I think we covered snow.
Was it like,
before.
excuse me while I kiss this guy,
let
or
us
excuse
know?
me while I
Let
kiss
us
the
know.
sky?
Let us know.
I don't know. But go to mansonbrothers.com, address your questions, pick up some merchandise. Not that one.
MegaChainAlcohol.com.
Not that one. Manson Brothers t-shirt with a funny saying on the back. Couple of pictures we got, couple different ones to choose from. We'll sign them for you. Our Blu-ray DVD, where we save the world of Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre. Also, you could see it on iTunes, Amazon, and all your streaming services. We'll sign all this shit for you.
And
We
just
got
so you
these
know,
ducky hats too.
it's Saturday night where we're at. What are you going to do tonight?
And Saturday night's all right for fighting, so that's what I'm gonna do.
So I guess we already know what he's doing.
Mostly with the girlfriend. We'll see.
You got a girlfriend?
I have a few.
Seriously?
I don't tell you everything
Why not?
because you make
You're
fun
always
of me.
around. You're always about.
Because you make fun of me. I'm always about what?
Can I see her?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I'll definitely make fun of you.
Fucker.
You know what I'm going to do?
Make fun of me?
Just what you said right before.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, that's our show. It's been a great week. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week with another Manson Brothers original on the Arrow in the Head channel. This guy's going to be here with us. Jimmy Page is going to be here with us.
The Duke.
The Duke is most definitely going to be here with us. We should do something with John Wayne.
Let's do something.
One of
John.
his shows.
Yeah, we should.
Well,
It's not a
I'll
horror
tell you,
movie,
little
but some of them
booger.
are pretty scary.
He's got a horrible accent when he does Genghis Khan.
Oh, we'll get that later. Maybe
Why do
that's
you
the
do
one we'll
Genghis
do.
Khan?
I don't know, for the money.
It's like you doing Genghis Khan. Actually, you
I'd be a better
would be
Genghis
a
Khan.
way better Genghis Khan. That because you could, if you shaved all of this and then did the little thing with the bald head,
Yeah,
and you got the whole samurai thing going on.
yeah. Samurai.
Was it Genghis or Genghis?
I don't know. I thought it was Genghis.
I've heard it pronounced Genghis.
Could be Genghis.
Is it Jenga or Genga? when you know the
It's
little game
Jenga
you
because
pull
I heard
things
it
out?
on the commercials.
Is that with a G or a J?
J.
You sure?
No.
I'm not either. I'm pretty
Is
good
it
at the
ganja?
name.
Is ganja with a G or a J?
Oh, ganja's with a G. It's not janja.
If you smoke enough of it, is it with a G?
No, but here's the deal. People pronounce G like a J, but nobody pronounces J like a G.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't think it's fair. I think we ought to write our congressman.
But there's a
about
lot of
that.
silent J's out there, like Ganya. Or Greg Ganya is a silent G.
Yeah, because he never talks.
And Vern, well, he couldn't because he was a terrible promo. Because he
Yeah.
got pushed by his dad. He should have never
Yeah.
been in the wrestling business
No.
to begin with.
Nice fella.
Sorry, Greg. Love you. You and Jim Renzel and all the other guys. Who's that other guy? Brad Rangens that used to
Rangens.
work all the time.
He was the
He
Japan.
was supposedly
contact.
legit, right?
He was. He was like an Olympic
Legit worker or wrestler?
Wrestler.
He's a shitty worker.
No, but he
Anyway.
could put you away.
Kids, that's all the time we got. It's time to go home. Again, never trust a big butt and a smile.
See you later,
That's something
shitty pants.
Buy our stuff. We love you. See you next week.